Hey guys, Hector Castillo here from girlshiz.com, the world's most popular men's dating site. Now today I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of attainability in dating. For some background context to the motivation of this video, a little while back I was reading an email that Chase sent out in one of his newsletters, and in the email he talked about how attainability actually causes more rejections from girls than most guys think, and actually causes it more than value on average. For those who aren't aware of the terms that I just used, value and attainability, it comes from an old system from the heydays of the pickup community when it, arose from its mother's basement. One of Chase's mentors coined this system called V.A.C. V.A.C. stands for value, attainability, which this video is about, and also compliance. To clarify what value means, it can be anything from your smile, your personality, your physique, your wealth, or even your authority position at work. It's what makes you hot or attractive. And there's many types of value. There's sexy value, there's social status value, it goes on and on. Skipping down then to compliance. Compliance is a compounding principle of human psychology. When people invest in you, whether it's time, resources, or emotions, they're more likely to continue to invest in you and in even greater quantities. Attainability, however, is a bit more complicated, hence the video. But it's equally as important, and in a lot of cases more important than value and compliance. And it's something that a lot of guys forget about because it is more complicated and for a lot of people just not worth thinking about. Imagine for a moment that life is like a video game, specifically a role-playing game or an RPG where you level up your stats as time goes on. For me, personally, I like to focus on getting the biggest fucking sword I can get and just maxing out strength or attack power, and basically just making it so I can one-shot anyone who comes in my fucking way. This approach is flashy. It looks cool. You one-shot everyone and you're fucking huge. That, in real life terms, is a value-heavy guy. Yet, inevitably, as in any RPG and pretty much any field in life, you're going to come upon someone who's wearing heavy armor and can withstand your attacks, or an enemy who's too fast and you just can't even hit him. If you're an efficient strategist, you adapt. You change your tactics. For the fast guy, you work on your speed, or you work on your accuracy so you can actually land those big blows. For the heavy armor guy, maybe you switch to magic so you can just melt his armor. Dating and socializing, it's pretty much an RPG. Think of value as strength. It's what generates lust in women and respect from men. You get rich, you get ripped, you get popular. You do whatever it takes so that women are going to want you and men are going to want to be you. However, a really funny thing starts to happen when you start improving your value a lot. You're getting more attraction and perhaps you do see some success. But then you recognize a very obvious truth. Attraction doesn't necessarily mean success. She's not magically in your bed because you're hot. For instance, one very common step in a man's journey to become more valuable is to go through what we call their asshole phase. It's when a man becomes more of an asshole because he wants to demand respect from people. And it does work for a while. But then he starts to observe something very strange and ironic. People are becoming even more disrespectful to him than when he was a doormat and a nice guy. They were mean to him when he was nice, and now they're mean to him when he's standing up for himself. The fuck is going on? As you can probably guess, it's an attainability problem. And this example, this classic and oftentimes necessary step in a man's evolution of becoming an asshole, is a clear demonstration of how people's perceptions of reality and our intentions of that reality are often at odds. And this disconnect between two subjective experiences perfectly illustrates how a girl could think that you are unattainable, even if you, being on the other side, can conceive of no way that she could think that. To put it bluntly, both men and women, and yes, that means you, are far more sensitive than we'd like to admit. Do you want to test this? Okay, let's put you in a hypothetical scenario. Try to be honest. You're at an art gallery, you met a chick, you're talking to her, it's going well, pretty green lights going off, and you're like, okay, this bitch likes me. And then an outside interference is introduced. And as if you're playing Pokemon and walking through the grass, a wild enemy appears. A big old swinging dick's coming to take your pussy. Is he a friend? Is he a boyfriend? Or is he just some random dude coming to swoop? You don't know. But what you do know is that now she's talking to him. All of the green lights that she was giving you, she's sending over to him now. Smiling, laughing, talking. Do you feel emboldened by this competition? Or do you think to yourself, maybe it's not worth it anymore? All right, next scene. Let's say you're on a date with a girl. You're grabbing coffee. You're having a good conversation. Everything's going well. And then, suddenly, she goes quiet. What's your first assumption? From my experience of actually being in this situation and from hearing my clients find themselves in the same situation, is that you're going to panic or you're just going to freeze up because all the lights are green and now you don't even see what light it is. You don't know how to proceed. So you keep talking. And sometimes that's the right move. It was just an awkward pause, a conversational bump. But other times, and far more often than you think, it was actually an escalation window. She wants you to get her out of there, maybe even home. But you didn't consider her attainable enough to go that far and to invite her home. You didn't think she's ready. And that, gentlemen, is attainability. It's you not thinking that she or her not thinking that you are ready to take the next step because you're not sure how they feel about you. And these three little fuckers right here are the primary culprits as to why one person might think that the other person is unattainable, or why they might think the other person is too attainable, or in other words, too easy to get. Let's start with disrespect. When someone feels disrespected, they don't feel like they can trust the other person. That person doesn't seem to care about them. And remember, it doesn't matter what the person intended to make the other person feel. It only matters that right now they feel disrespected. And if that disrespect or that offense is too great, that girl is going to feel like she can't relax around you. She expects that you'll continue to be disrespectful and make her feel judged, criticized, and not appreciated. Simply put, she'll feel like you don't really like her as much as she previously thought you did. And if you really, really disrespect her, don't be too surprised when you hear something like this.
Look, fuck you, fuck the plane you flew in on, fuck them shoes, fuck the socks with the bell on it, fuck your gay-ass fairy faggot accent, fuck them cheap-ass cigars, fuck your yuck-mouth teeth, fuck your hairpiece, fuck your chocolate, fuck Guy Ritchie, fuck Prince William, fuck the Queen.
I had to fit that in there. I hope you guys appreciate it. The Boondocks are awesome. But okay, back to the video. Next up on the attainability problem list is unworthiness. This one's the easiest to understand. It's when someone thinks you're too hot or too fucking cool for school. And depending on how cool or hot or awesome she already thinks you are, it just takes one comment to totally fuck up everything. And finally, there's difference. This is an attainability problem rooted in difference of personality, interests, or levels of affection. There is an appeal to someone who is your contrast or even your opposite, but we're naturally inclined to seek others who share our hobbies and our attitudes and our preferences. And we like those who feel for us what we feel for them. If a girl feels you're too different from her, she's likely to ditch you because your long-term viability doesn't exist. For quick sex, it's less of an issue, but since a girl could get pregnant, and because women are always thinking about the future, she might ditch you for a guy she's more similar to, even if it's just for a one-night stand. And on the other side of difference, you have an imbalance of affection. If she feels that she likes you more than you like her, she's going to feel like it's a waste of time. If, on the other hand, you like her more than she likes you, then maybe you're not as awesome as she thought you were. Remember, it's not important who actually likes who more, it's what it seems like. And when you don't understand how these factors of attainability work, you can sometimes send the girl into what we call auto-rejection, or as I like to call it, a clusterfuck. It's when the girl gets really cold, angry, or erratic and just rejects you. And once she's in auto-rejection, your chances of getting with her are slim to none. So, how do you avoid auto-rejection? Because it's a target that you do not want to hit unless you want to have a really fucking weird time. Well, I'll tell you. But before I do, allow me to clarify. Value and attainability are, for the most part, inversely correlated. If you're not having an attainability issue and you're really having a value issue, but you make these adjustments, they might result in you becoming too agreeable, too nice, and too vulnerable, which might make her not respect you anymore. But if your problem is women liking you, but then suddenly becoming annoyed or even angry at you, then you're probably coming off disrespectful, and so you need to adjust the judgmentalness of your language and your demeanor. And if this is a general trend that you're observing, there's a few things you can do. Use less abrasive language, be less verbally dominating, avoid looking too serious or analytical, and stray from controversial topics. Then, try complimenting her more, agreeing more, and letting her talk more. Non-verbally, you want to be less domineering with your touch and less imposing. Alternatively, if you notice that women become sad or insecure around you, here's how you fix that. Compliment her more. Touch her more. It'll make her feel more desired and will let her know that she's on your level. Also, pay her more attention, seem less aloof, and talk more. Make her feel like she's worthy of your attention. Or, if you're noticing that women comment on how different you are from them, or that after a particular topic she changes her attitude, try to mitigate or hide any future differences you have. If she says something you disagree with, let it slide. If she disagrees with something you said, either build a bridge by pointing out a similarity, or just brush it off. Now, I want to remind you, only implement these strategies if you have a trend of auto-rejecting girls for one of the 3 reasons outlined, or if you can adapt to individual girls in the moment and see auto-rejection coming. Of course, you're going to have to test this. As I always say, the proof is in the pussy. So if you implement these adjustments and you see no improvement in results, then attainability isn't your issue. You need to focus on improving your value or getting more compliance. Each person is unique, but in general, if you're a beginner, focus on building value. If you're intermediate, focus on building value and introduce attainability a little bit. But if you're advanced, then you really need to worry about attainability and also start focusing on generating compliance. For bonus points, if you really want to dive deep into the V.A.C framework, start to consider the fact that value, attainability, and compliance can all be seen and evaluated by women just by looking at you and by how you interact with others. I suspect that some of you might be asking, why should I put in so much effort? If she gets upset at some joke or feels insecure, that's her problem. And you're not wrong. It's simply a question of how efficient you want to be. But if you're not happy with your current caliber of girls or your quantity, then mastering attainability is worth a serious consideration. And there you have it, boys. Now you understand attainability, auto-rejection, and the 3 causes behind attainability auto-rejection: disrespect, unworthiness, and difference. As always, this is Hector Castillo from girlschase.com. Love the fuck out of you guys, and I'll see you again soon.